What's up, guys? I'm Benji,
And I'm Miles.
and you're tuned in to The Proper Fit.
Yes, people, our topic for today is how to get stronger.
Awesome. We're going to be bringing you a new, fresh tune of the time.
Lovely, lovely. And we're going back to our normal Q&A section, Fitness Whispers.
Fitness Whispers. We're also going to bring you our Uncle Benj section where you can give me a scenario completely anonymous, and I'll do my best to give you some advice around that scenario.
And to top it off, our proper fit tip for this episode, our PFT.
Awesome. So let's get into it. You're tuned in to The Proper Fit. So, Miles, this episode is all about how to get stronger,
Yes,
which is
indeed.
something that we all want to know ultimately. um, I guess most people have an aim when they come into fitness
Yes.
of losing weight, looking better, feeling better.
Mm-hmm.
But uh, getting stronger is not normally the first thing that people think about when coming to a fitness provision. But it's so important.
Yeah.
Why?
Yeah, so I mean, it is important. You have to get stronger if you're looking to, lose that weight that you're looking to lose. A lot of the training that we do in the gym revolves around weight training, revolves around resistance training, and as we've already spoken about, a great way to actually lose the weight that you're looking for is to dive straight into some kind of resistance training along with cardio and other attributes of fitness. But that's all the physical, and I think we forget about the mental, the position that you need to get your head, the mindset that you need to get into to allow you to do all um, the physical factors that actually
Yeah.
get you to where you want to get to. So
Okay.
before you get into the gym, you should be trying to get your mindset right so that you can actually get what you're looking for. And
Mm.
that's something that comes over time. It develops over time. But one thing that you can do whilst you're actually in the gym is certain types of coping strategies. So I can get a little bit deeper with it, but there's different types of ways that you can kind of push yourself through an intense session. So those times where you're working, and it's getting hard as hell. You don't
Yeah.
want to be in the gym anymore. Like
Yeah.
you've had enough. Everything's hurting. You're tired and whatnot. Those are the times where, funny enough, most progress is made.
Yeah.
And
Definitely.
it's really important at those times that you're pushing as hard as you can.
Mm.
So just to go back to my first point, there's different coping strategies that you can use, and they're normally broken down into like different kind of areas. Like you have um, disassociation and association kind of uh, techniques.
Techniques.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So association in terms of you actually listening to your body and internalizing what the body's kind of feeding back to you.
Hmm.
And then disassociation is when you're focusing on anything but the body.
Yeah. Yeah.
So purely depends on the type of person you are. Also depends on the type of exercise that you're doing. But sometimes it's really good to focus on other things rather than actually listening to your body.
Mm.
But in terms of listening to your body, I'm talking about how hard you're breathing. Yeah,
Yeah.
if you're sweating, if you're fatigued, and all this kind of stuff, or self-talk. You're still listening to your body. You're still telling your body what to do, feeding back to your body, and it feeding back to you. That's really important. And then you have the external things. So this is where things like music come into play, where you can just focus on the beat of a tune if you're working really hard through cardio. People like to go out for runs in the park because it's got better scenery, or people like to just work out outside because they're one with nature and all this kind of stuff.
Or listen
Um,
to really inspiring podcasts while they're
oh,
working
that too, and then
out.
you'll actually be working out quite proper. Some would say you'd be having you create the proper fit whilst you're working out.
There you go. Nice. I think like you've made some fantastic points that are
Yeah.
things that we've sort of touched on in previous episodes. as well. This kind of is an extension of the proper fit
Yeah.
tip from the last episode, which was about mind over muscle, and that
Yes.
mind and muscle connection, thinking about what the body is doing
Mm.
and how to almost visualize the load that you're putting your body under. These are all components of strength, and that mental strength that you spoke about.
Yeah.
I guess another way that we can kind of really track and kind of hold ourselves accountable in terms of how hard we're working at any given time would be something like the MyZone heart rate monitors, or any type of tracking device that helps to tell you where you're at any given time in terms of effort specifically.
Examples of external. That's an external kind of
Exactly.
technique.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So I'll give you one example. We had a session just this week, which was our attack session. And for the first time, several people hit 100% of their maximum heart rate.
Okay.
Now, one of the easiest things for them was going from 99% to 100%,
Right.
because they could see, they could visualize, they could actually look at something in front of them that said, if you push that little bit more, if you squat that little bit lower, if you just punch that little bit quicker,
Mm.
you're going to hit 100%.
Yeah.
And so that right there is one example of how you can use something external, a piece of apparatus, as a motivating factor for your sort of mental abilities to push and achieve that next level. And it's always good, I think, to visualize the end. So when your instructor, as I often do in my sessions, is counting down
Okay.
from 10, 20, 30, whatever it might be, visualize the one, visualize the zero, and make sure that you're absolutely maxing yourself out. And the aim is to get past zero and feel like you could do more. That's just one of the many things that you can do just to have that little bit of mental focus to almost visualize the finish line.
Oh, that's brilliant, man. That's great example.
So, one of the other things that you mentioned was that external motivation being music, which leads us on to our tune of the time
Oh, you're so
for
smooth.
this.
You're so smooth. Jesus.
It just works. It just flows. It just flows. So this is by a group that many people will remember, or a collective that many people remember, the Streets. Ironically, actually from Birmingham. So the Streets featuring Donae'o and Greentea Peng. This is "I Wish You Loved You as Much as You Loved Him."
I know he says he'll change, but maybe you should know that people never change, they're just exposed. I wish you loved you as much as you love him. I wish you loved you as much as you love him. Searching for ourselves and one another. All the power you need, don't waste it.
That's such a tune.
Ooh, I'm bouncing along right now.
The
That's
beat
crazy.
on that, like, yeah, it's awesome.
That's
All we
special.
need is like an outdoor workout,
Yeah.
and the summer. The summer would be cool. So maybe next year.
Maybe next year. That's it. We'll hold them back. No, that's a great. I think it's a great blend of like the old school with the new as well. Greentea Penn's she's quite new on the scene. Obviously, the Streets and Donae'o have got some big tunes from back in the day as well.
Massive tunes. So yeah, check that out.
Yes, and we're into our next section. The Q&A section is back this episode. It's called Fitness Whispers.
So, here it is. This is our Fitness Whisper section, our Q&A section, where you can send us in a question, something that might be a source of frustration for you, or something that you've heard and don't quite understand. A little bit like a Chinese whisper, something that's been lost in translation. And we'll do our best to give you some really straight and poignant answers on that point. Okay,
Yes,
so here it goes. This is Sandra from Reading, and it reads, my friend recently started sending me information and samples of a shake and some supplements. These supplements I can use are for weight loss. They're called, I'm not going to read out. They're called,
Blank.
Have you heard of them? And what do you think?
Okay, have I heard of them and what do I think?
I think you can, if I say,
Oh, I had it. Oh, yeah. Oh, I've
Yeah.
got
Oh,
it.
you got it.
Oh,
Okay,
yeah.
cool.
That's good.
Yeah. Cool.
Yes. So I've heard of I've
Yeah.
also heard of other ones such as and
Mhm, mhm.
and but we'll go past those ones. Those are actually real ones. I promise. I wasn't just humming for the sake of it. No, but there's a few different companies that have created these.
Pyramid schemes.
No comment.
Sorry, I mean diet
No comment.
supplements.
There's a few of these companies that have created their own kind of diet plan or way of eating, so to speak.
Yeah. Yeah.
And the jury is out on, or not even that the jury is out. It's more there's split opinions with
Yeah.
the validity, the quality, and the effectiveness of some of these companies or some of
And
these
purpose.
and purpose. Yes. So if I'm to speak from a completely objective point of view,
Hmm.
you can achieve what you're looking for if you're using some of these samples and supplements. However, you're going to be spending a lot more money for one, which is pretty much unnecessary. For two, there's no. I don't know. I'm trying to be objective, but I've got my own opinion. So
Stay balanced, bro. Stay
I'm
balanced,
trying. I'm
because
trying.
I'll come with the
You're
ratchet.
gonna go
You
for
can.
it. Right. Okay. Cool. So yeah. In fact, I'll try and do all the positives then, and you can go for it. You
Yeah.
can go for the neck.
Cheers.
I'm trying to put you in a hole again. No. So yeah, there's a split decision on the validity, effectiveness, and all this kind of stuff. The purpose. Let's say your goal is weight loss. If you're trying to lose weight whilst using these supplements and shakes, it's possible. It's definitely possible. Just be ready to spend a little bit more money. And I don't know.
Shall I come in? Shall I come in?
Yeah, it's getting a bit
I
tough
mean,
because I'm
yeah.
trying.
I mean, my, I mean, there's something called subliminal message,
Go ahead.
and if you take from the fact that Miles was really struggling there to bring you all the positives, that right there is the subliminal message.
Right.
I'm gonna say it straight, okay? So you've got, and this is gonna make me very unpopular. However, you've got many different supplement companies. You've got many different companies that provide holistic diets, and there's a number of elements to this. One of them is something that we covered sort of back in episode 3, where we spoke about rules, okay, and the rules being the thing that dictate whether you're successful or not following a particular diet, okay. So with these supplements, with these supplementation companies, with these diets, you will have to stick very, very rigidly to their rules to see any results at all. So that kind of backs up Miles's point with regard to can you actually achieve your goal? Potentially, yes. However, sticking rigidly to the rules.
Yeah.
I will give you an example of where sticking rigidly to the rules, if you try and change your lifestyle and continue to stick with those rules, can become a problem. So I have a client who came to me after struggling to lose weight. She went to World and was then instructed to lose so much weight each week.
That
When
was less of a hum, but
we might have to put a bleep over the top of that one. She was once told 1 week when she started working out with me that A, she shouldn't be doing exercise as part of their program, and B, that she'd lost too much weight that week and therefore potentially might incur a cost, might have to pay, or essentially was almost told to put that weight back on.
Wow.
Okay. Now, for obvious reasons, we can all say and see why that's wrong.
Of course.
Right? Like, so
your goal is weight loss. No, put more on so that you can lose more later.
Firstly. Secondly, telling someone how and when they can lose weight, I don't agree with. Thirdly, telling someone not to exercise is wrong. There are undeniable benefits to working out for anybody. Children, in terms of movement, teenagers, in terms of development, adults, in terms of maintaining fitness, developing strength, muscle development, more mature adults, in terms of helping to hold back some of the inevitable issues with getting older. And then for elderly people, in terms of strength, structure, mobility, and longer life expectancy. So anybody that tells you you shouldn't exercise, unless they are a medically trained person, physician, doctor, and there is a very specific reason that exercise would harm you, you need to ignore them. That is false. And you need to then look into the reasons why they're telling you to do that. We had a number of questions and comments come in when people found out that we were doing this as an episode, and they were all around one particular type of diet that's out there, whereby people said, my mum tried this, she's never lost any weight. Other people have said, my mum tried this, lost lots of weight, but then put it all back on and is now heavier. I tried this, but when I started working out, I started bulking up. I tried this. And one of the common things was about the types of foods that you were told to eat on this particular plan.
Okay.
And one of the types of foods you were told you could almost eat unlimited quantities of are carbohydrates. Now, we can't go into it too much in this episode. We'll cover it going forward. But to keep it really simple, unlimited carbohydrates aren't for anybody.
Listen, a limited anything is
exactly
not healthy, you know?
But let's keep it really specific to this thing that people were told. Unlimited carbohydrates ain't for anybody. So if you hear that, or you see that, or you're reading that, or you're instructed to follow that as a principle, it's wrong. 100%. The other thing that needs to be thought about, just to conclude, is that whether it be or a pyramid scheme where someone's trying to get you to sell something and disguising it with these beneficial supplementations or whatever it might be, if you want to go and use those things to your advantage, then that is your prerogative completely. But the principles of weight loss and the development of strength are there. They're scientifically proven. There's no denying them. And they're quite simple. If you want to lose weight, you need to be in a calorie deficit. So if reducing your calories by taking on one of these diets or supplements happens, you're going to lose weight. That's not necessarily attributed to that company or that product or that pyramid scheme. It's just you did the science, whether you know it or not. And so what you need to be careful of is being sheltered or hidden from the true science behind what's happening. And having a facade put in front of you, which has a name or a brand on it. And they are using that to suggest that it's this particular thing that is the miracle that's got you to achieve your results, and not the science that they're masking from you.
Sure.
You know?
Big point, man.
We went in deep.
Yeah,
I say we.
Happens.
I say we. Miles was the. I'll take it. Miles was the diplomatic one.
Do you know what I've got to say? Actually, I tried to take my opinion out of it, but I've got to say my opinion's got to come into it a little bit. But when it does come to things like this, I don't advocate it as much as a healthy balanced diet. Testament to what you said. If you eat, you're it's a very rigid system more often than not, and that means that you can't enjoy your food. Food is more than fuel, so you should be able to enjoy your food as well as stay healthy. And if it's a supplement, they are supposed to supplement your diet if you really need it, if you get what I mean. So you're not supposed to solely rely on these shakes and supplements, in my opinion. I think you should let it be a part of your diet if you truly, truly need it, if you haven't got the time and all this kind of stuff. But more often than not, just eat food. You'll be fine.
There you go.
Yeah.
Enough said.
All right.
So that leads us on to where I have to try and be diplomatic and a little bit more mature. I'm going to try. Our Uncle Benj section, where I put on my thinking cap or my flat cap, a monocle.
A monocle. I can see it. I can see that. I can see that. All right, Uncle Benj. So, as we always say, this is an anonymous section. If you have a dilemma, send it in. We won't reveal your name. This dilemma is about a female, about a lady, and here it goes. Uncle Benj, I'm nervous about returning to the office for obvious reasons. Risk of infection, other people's hygiene, etc. But what is troubling me the most is the thought of sitting next to my colleague. Okay? I didn't read this one through. I didn't read this one through, so this is the first time I'm reading it, and it might be interesting. She often doesn't smell very nice. Yeah, I told you it's going to be interesting. And continues to wear the same cardigan, which she leaves on the back of her chair. This cardigan has been there for 6 months. What? Do you know what? I could actually see how that could happen, because when you have someone in the office who just leaves like a certain jumper and just leaves it hanging up from a long time. Anyway, this cardigan has been there for 6 months. It's never been washed and obviously smells. I'm worried about her personal hygiene and don't know how to approach the subject. Okay, there's a lot of information there.
Okay.
There's no question, so I'm guessing she wants to know how to approach the subject.
Okay. Wow, a very valid point.
Very detailed point.
Yeah, and I feel sorry for you. And I hope she's not listening. Or maybe she needs to listen.
Yeah,
maybe here's the first response, like, from Uncle Benj. In the office, just drop this podcast on, or just send it out in a group email. Guys, these guys are really informative. Episode 5 is my favorite. Check it out. She'll hear this. Resolved. Bang. Done.
Get to minute 24 and a half.
Yeah. Tell her exactly where we're at.
There's something really interesting there. I don't know what it is. It just really speaks to me.
No, you know what? This is genuinely, this is a really tough one. Like, everyone can smell, right? Like, fabric softener, a particular material, under your armpits, close to your armpits or whatever, can always make you maybe smell a little bit different.
I think it's a poor sense of smell. That's been my thinking from a long time. Like, I really think that's what it is.
It's bizarre. But so perhaps she's one of those people that can't smell it. And I think, some people don't have, the facility to buy really expensive perfumes or shower gels and things.
Perfume just covers it up though. Like,
yeah, it does. True.
And
yeah, I mean, I'm a little bit like you. I'm trying to find positives and reasons why, and reasons why she might smell. And I'm really struggling because soap ain't expensive.
Use a loafer, use a flannel, then dry off with a towel.
How do you approach it? Okay, I mean, I'm going to give you two ways. Controversial one.
Okay,
you could. It's really bad. You could put ant powder or like itching powder on the cardigan, right? So that when she puts it on, she's like, shit, it's really itchy. Like, oh, I can't wait. And then if everybody in the office is in on it, you can get them to say, oh, you really want to take that home and wash it if it feels that
No.
way. That's the way you could fall. That's the controversial one. I'm just saying that I'm just saying. Or you could walk past, spill a cup of coffee, for example, or a cup of tea
Mad.
on it, like fall over, trip and fall. And go, oh my god, I'm so sorry. Please let me take it home. I'll wash it for you. Right? So you could do that.
I'm
I
laughing
guess,
because they would both work, but they're both
but
cheeky.
I feel like both would work. But you know, if you feel she doesn't have very much money and wouldn't be pushed with the powder, then just spill something on it and offer to take it home and wash it. Or when she leaves the office, take it home yourself, wash it,
Could do
bring it
that.
back. That's going to reduce the smell that you
Yeah.
have to endure.
Yeah.
But it won't solve the personal hygiene thing. That is more something that I think you're going to have like conversations, communal conversations in the office when appropriate, just around things like, oh, have you heard episode 4 of this podcast? They were talking about how often you should wash your hair.
Yeah.
How often do you wash your hair? Or you know, how often do you have a shower?
Should
I
I
like
laugh, actually?
having
Nah,
baths. Like
this is
you,
nice.
you got to get those communal conversations going
Yeah.
and sort of educate.
Just let her know. And I suppose the latter options, what you said, are better than the first ones because the first one's could incite bullying, and we don't advocate bullying. So
No, we don't advocate bullying. No.
unless everyone came to a common agreement that this is for the greater good
The
and
greater
because we want to
good.
help her, you know.
Yeah, it's the
But
greater good.
yeah, man, that's a lot. You know, just
So,
clean your
and the
skin.
proper fit tip for this week is wash. No, I'm
Yes.
joking.
But-
No, let's head into our proper fit tip.
Cool.
So this is the section where we give you a fitness tip, something that is going to help you improve your fitness lifestyle from the workout perspective. So what is it, Miles?
Yes, it is. Go to sleep.
Whoa, simple. Let's go. Let's hear it.
Well, the power of sleep is incredible. I mean, we all know that when we're sleep deprived, the day is hard and long, and we just want to get straight back in bed. It relates even more so to a workout. Have you ever been to the gym where you're tired and that workout is feeling an hour's workout is feeling like 4, and it's because you're tired. Your body's tired. It doesn't want to be doing anything like that. So you need to be having the right amount of sleep to help you achieve what you're looking for. We can tie it back into the actual topic, you know, coping strategies. that's a very key one. If you're tired, you are not going to get the most out of your session. So, you know, you need to make sure that you're having enough sleep the whole way through. Depending on the type of person that you are or the lifestyle that you live, will feed into how many hours sleep you actually need per night. Some people can sleep on about 5 to 6. Other people need a lot more, like 10 to 11. Purely depends on your lifestyle, and actually just purely depends on who you are. Sometimes our bodies are a little bit more efficient. Sometimes they just need a little bit more time.
Yeah, and I guess that's really key. I think it's something that you've got to explore with sleep. It's something that you've got to experiment with and not just take for granted by just arriving at, I don't sleep very well. Well, that's a closed-minded mentality.
Absolutely.
The question is, why don't you sleep very well? And how can you explore other ways to see if you can sleep
Key
well?
point there. How?
Change that. How? Why? What? And I think the other thing to think about, certainly from my perspective, having a young baby, is that I think there are many people, mothers also, who would like more sleep and just don't get it.
Sure.
And I think someone just saying to you, get more sleep, is like, shut up.
Kicking them out, innit?
Yeah, like I'd love more sleep.
Yeah.
And I think one of the key things with that is an extension of the proper fit tip being get more sleep is get routine, because it's actually the routine that allows you to access and get more sleep. So, however it is, wherever it is that you can find the time and ability and state, when I refer to state, I mean a state of relaxation, the ability to breathe, to be still, like wherever it is and however it is you can get that, you need to practice that religiously. And a lot of people are prejudiced against sleeping in the day. I just can't sleep in the day. Well, if sleeping in the day for 2 hours means that across 24 hours, when you get your 6 at night because your screaming child wakes you, well, actually, that's better in contributing towards getting that, that 8 hours a day. So routine and structure are vital in sleep, just as they are with fitness, just as they are with weight loss. Routine and structure are important, and so you need to build a routine around the. You need to build a routine that allows you to be still, relaxed, and get rest and or sleep where you can. That concludes everything for this episode. If you've got some questions around anything that you've heard, unless it's about what type of ant powder to buy, we don't want any traces of that. But if you've got if you've got any questions or you want to hear a little bit more in future episodes, you can get at us by giving us an email at theproperfitpodcast@gmail.com or
via Instagram, Coreattack, Coreattack. Hit us up there, DM us, or email us.
Awesome. So all that remains to say is I'm Benji.
And I'm Miles.
And you've been tuned into The Proper Fit.